Oh, beamy 41, Thursday night, kitchen light flickering like it wants out. Cheap bowl buzzing over the table. I'm slicing onions even though my eyes already sting. Not sure anyone's actually eating tonight. My son's home for spring break. Duffel bag still dumped by the stairs. Sneakers kicked off careless, like when he was 10. Except he isn't 10. He's taller than me now. Broader shoulders and quieter. That's what keeps catching my attention. Not moody, not pissed, just closed off. Like someone who learned early that talking costs you, I try to keep it light. Same routine as always. Don't look up from the cutting board. You mentioned you've been seeing someone. He gives a low hum from across the room, leaning back on the counter, scrolling his phone, relaxed posture but somehow distant, like a wall you don't notice until you hit it. What's her name? Pause. Emily. I nod, like it's nothing. Emily, probably young, 19, maybe 20, nice. I say it like a mom is supposed to. How long? A few months. I wait. Nothing else follows. I wipe my hands on a dish towel, turn to face him, think I'll get to meet her while you're here. The question comes out heavier than planned. I see it in his shoulders before he answers. They tighten just a bit, maybe, not yes, not sure, just maybe. I keep my voice calm, measured, reasonable. If she matters to you, I'd like to meet her. That's normal. Evan, he doesn't argue. He never really does anymore. Just shrugs, eyes glued to his screen. Something about it irritates me, like he's agreeing just to end it, not because he means it. So, what's the hesitation, I ask? Is she busy? Or, it's not that. He cuts in. Soft, too soft. The voice you use around unstable glass. I really look at him then. He looks worn, not finals tired, not up all night tired. Something deeper, something practiced. Then what is it? I push. He looks up, holds my gaze a beat too long, then looks away. I just haven't figured out how to do that yet. Do that. Like introducing your girlfriend is a scheduling issue, not something happy. My chest tightens. How to do what? Exactly. He opens his mouth, closes it. Whatever he was going to say gets buried, back to the phone, and then it rings. Sharp sound in the quiet kitchen. Not loud, just intrusive, like it knows it's cutting through something fragile. He glances at the screen. I see the name before he can turn it. Emily. He freezes, just half a second. Long enough. I don't say anything, don't need to. The question is already sitting between us. Onions, knife, unspoken tension. He exhales, answers, hey, turns slightly away from me, still in the room, but angled off, like geometry can soften impact. Yeah, I'm home. Pause. Another pause. No, it's not a bad time. I fold my arms without noticing. She asked about you. He says quieter. Pause. I know. Pause. I just didn't want to rush it. My stomach drops. He rubs his forehead. I'll explain later, okay? Call ends. He stands there, phone still in his hand, like he's bracing. I speak first. She called you? Yeah. Asked about meeting me? Yeah. I let the silence stretch until it feels deliberate, and you don't know how to do that. I repeat his words carefully. What does that mean? Evan, he finally looks at me. No anger, no attitude, just flat honesty. And somehow that scares me more. It means, he says, I'm trying not to put her in a spot I already know won't feel good. The words just sit there, careful, heavy. I swallow. For who he doesn't answer right away. Then quieter, for her. It hits harder than I expect. Not because it's mean, because it's deliberate. I pull out a chair, sit down, force my voice to stay even. Why wouldn't it feel good for her? He sets his phone down on the counter, screen up, like he's done hiding anything. He doesn't sit, stays standing. One foot hooked around the chair across from me. Body angled like he's ready to bail. If this turns, she doesn't like conflict, he says. I almost laugh. Not because it's funny, because it's ridiculous. Most people don't. No, he says. Small head shake. She doesn't live in it. There it is. First crack. I straighten in the chair. You think meeting me would be conflict? I think it could become one, he says, even if you don't mean it to. Heat crawls up my neck. So now I'm someone who can't be trusted to have a normal conversation. He winces, not defensive, regretful, mom, half plea, half warning. I'm asking a fair question, I say. You're home. You're serious about her. It's normal for a parent to want to meet her. I know, he says, same word, same tone. And I'm not saying never. Then what are you saying? He pauses. I can see him measuring the ground, choosing each word carefully, like stepping stones over water. I'm saying I don't want her first experience with my family to feel like a test. My jaw tightens. A test of what? Of her, he says. Her beliefs, how she talks, how aware she is, whether she meets a standard she never agreed to. That's not fair. I say instantly, too fast. He exhales through his nose. That's what I was worried you'd say. I grip the edge of the table. You're acting like I interrogate. People, you don't interrogate, he says calmly. You frame in the word cuts deeper than yelling would. I give context. I snap. That's called being thoughtful. I know, he says, but when it's constant, context still feels like pressure. I open my mouth to fire back, then stop, because he's not yelling, not accusing, not pushing, just explaining. So what? I say slower. You're saying the kind of woman you're with couldn't handle talking to me. He finally sits, leans forward, elbows on his knees, hands loosely clasped. I'm saying the kind of woman I date now isn't like you. Simple sentence, no edge, still lands like a punch. I let out a sharp breath. Explain. He nods, like he knew we'd get here. They don't turn every interaction into a trial. He says, they don't assume there's a moral quiz hidden behind every question. And what exactly do you think I do? I ask. He looks at me, then really looks. You make people feel like they're being watched for mistakes. Silence. The fridge hums. Somewhere outside, a car door slams. I don't do that to you, I say quietly. He tilts his head. You always have. The certainty in his voice makes it harder to brush off. You taught me how to think critically, he continues, and I'm grateful for that. I really am. But you also taught me that love came with conditions. My throat tightens. That's not... Mom, he cuts in, gentle but firm. I'm not attacking you. I'm answering what you asked. I press my lips together, nod. Once, let him keep going. With Emily, he says, I don't feel like I'm being measured. I don't feel like I need to explain myself in advance, so I don't mess up. You think I mess her up? I ask. He shakes his head. No. I think you challenge her. That's the problem. It's tiring. Then softer. It was tiring growing up that way. That word again, tiring, something defensive stirs in my chest. Old, automatic. So you want someone easier, I say. Someone who won't push back. He doesn't flinch. I want someone who challenges me without turning me into a project. The sentence just hangs there. No drama, no volume, still wrecks me. I look down at my hands. They're shaking. I hadn't noticed. I spent my life trying to raise you better than the men who hurt me. My voice cracks anyway. I wanted you to understand the world. I do understand it, he says quietly. I just don't want to live inside a constant critique of it. I look up. Then what am I to you? A warning sign. He swallows. No, you're my mom. Then why do you brace every time you talk to me? He doesn't answer right away. When he does, it's barely a whisper, because I learned early that one wrong sentence could turn into a lecture. The words sit there, solid, undeniable, and for once, I don't know how to correct them. I really look at him, not as a result, not as proof, not as a reflection of my parenting, just the person across from me, shoulders slightly hunched, already expecting impact. When did you start protecting people from me? I ask. He takes his time, he always does now. Learned habit. I don't think I ever chose it, he says. It just became clear over time. Clear how? He gestures around the kitchen, the books, the posters, the tone I didn't realize I'd adopted. I learned that bringing people into my life meant bringing them into this, into being analyzed. My chest tightens. Analyzed is generous. He gives a small, dry smile. That's what you'd call it. The urge rises to clarify, to explain, to reclaim ground, and then dies halfway up my throat. So the women you date, I say slowly, they're different from me. Yes. No. Pause. No apology. How? They don't make me feel evaluated. He says, they don't listen for the moment they can correct me. They don't turn every story into a lesson. I nod, even though my ribs feel like they're folding inward, so they don't challenge you. They do, he says, just not. About who I'm allowed to be, that lands harder than anything else. I stare at my hands. They're shaking worse now. I press my fingers together to steady them. I thought I was raising you to be aware. You did, he says. But you also taught me that awareness never rests, that it's always watching, always waiting. Silence settles in, not angry, just heavy. I didn't want you to meet her yet, he adds quietly, because I didn't want to watch you decide what she meant. I swallow. And what do I mean? He looks at me, really looks, no cruelty there, just finality. You mean effort, he says. You mean vigilance. You mean being right. Something in me gives, not loudly, not with tears, just a dull collapse. I never wanted to be someone you had to manage. I say, I know, he replies, but that's what I learned how to do. We sit there, the space filled with everything we never said in time. The house feels quieter than ever, like it's listening. I'm not cutting you out, he adds. I'm just choosing a life that doesn't feel like a fight. I nod. Don't trust my voice. He stands, hesitates, then grabs his jacket. I'm heading out. I'll be back later. Okay, I manage. He pauses at the door, looks back once. There's still love there, just careful now, measured. The door closes softly. I stay at the table long after his steps fade, surrounded by my books, my posters, my certainty, everything I built my life on. And for the first time, I understand what I spent years refusing to see. I didn't raise him to run from women like me. I raised him to know when love feels like pressure, and he learned it perfectly.